Close your eyes. Picture a Ferrari. Not at a dealership, not on a racetrack. In a parking lot at Dubai International Airport. Dust on the windshield, leather cracking in 47-degree heat, keys still in the ignition. Nobody's coming back for it. According to Dubai police statistics, between 2,000 and 3,000 luxury vehicles are abandoned in this city every single year. Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Bentleys, Bugattis, left at airports, mall garages, random street corners, gathering sand like forgotten toys. And the reason isn't what you'd expect. In Dubai, missing a single loan payment isn't a financial problem, it's a criminal offense. The UAE has no personal bankruptcy law. Default on a car payment, bounce one check, fall behind on your mortgage, and you're looking at prison time. Interpol has issued red notices to track down indebted foreigners who tried to flee the country. So, when the money runs out and the options disappear, people make a choice: prison or the airport. They choose the airport. They leave the Ferrari at the curb. And Dubai, because Dubai always finds a way, has turned these supercar graveyards into a tourist attraction. People actually pay to photograph them, a side business built entirely on someone else's financial collapse. That's Dubai in one image. The spectacle is real. The foundation underneath it is worth examining. Now, zoom out, because here's the number that explains almost everything else about this city. 89%. That's the share of Dubai's population that holds no Emirati citizenship. Not 89% of the workforce, 89% of every single person living here. Indians form the largest group, roughly 51%. Then Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, Filipinos, British expats, over 200 nationalities, 4 million people. In nearly all of them living under one condition: stay employed or leave. No path to citizenship after 5 years. No path after 10. The legal bar for naturalization is 30 years of continuous residence, demonstrated Arabic fluency, and a clean record. And even then, it's at the government's discretion. What this creates isn't really a city of residence. It's a city of rotating labor. People building something they'll never legally own, in a place that has no obligation to keep them. When a recession hits and companies start cutting, the population can drop by thousands per month. That figure comes from UAE records during the last major economic downturn. Can a city sustain itself long-term when nearly 90% of the people living there have no legal stake in its future? I think about that question a lot, because we may be about to find out. Here's a story that tells you a lot about how decisions get made here. In 2003, when Disney declined to build a theme park in the desert, Dubai's response was ambitious. They announced Dubai Land, a leisure destination twice the size of Walt Disney World, 107 square miles of attractions, 45 mega projects, Six Flags, DreamWorks, Universal, Legoland, all signed deals. The projected budget exceeded $64 billion. Ground was broken, flags went up, billboards appeared across the city. Then 2008 happened. The financial crisis hit. The money disappeared. The workforce was cut almost overnight. Universal, gone. Six Flags, gone. DreamWorks, gone. What exists today, more than 20 years after the first announcement? A partial residential community and a flower garden. The most expensive entertainment promise in history, reduced to desert with some villas. Dubai's pattern tends to follow the same arc. Announce something extraordinary, build the press coverage, then, when reality pushes back, move to the next project and hope the distance creates enough blur. It works well, as long as the money keeps moving. And speaking of things that aren't quite what they appear, the Burj Khalifa, 828 meters, the tallest structure on Earth. It weighs as much as 100,000 elephants, surface area equivalent to 17 football fields. Until 2010, it was called Burj Dubai. The name changed for one reason: Abu Dhabi had to bail Dubai out. The 2008 financial crisis left Nikhil, the developer behind Dubai's most ambitious projects, facing a debt restructuring of nearly $15 billion. Dubai was running on empty. Abu Dhabi wrote the check, and the condition attached to that check was simple: rename the tower after the Abu Dhabi president. The tallest building in the world carries its debt in its own name. Most tourists standing at its base have no idea. Cleaning it takes 3 months and costs millions of dollars annually. Cooling it in 50-degree heat is a bill that never stops. It's an extraordinary structure, genuinely, but it's also a useful reminder that underneath the glass and ambition, Dubai has historically depended on external money to stay standing. For decades, the pitch was straightforward: zero corporate tax, keep everything you earn, come build something here. It worked. Hedge funds, tech companies, trading desks, law firms, they came. On June 1, 2023, that changed. Under international pressure to comply with anti-tax evasion standards, specifically the OECD's Pillar 2 framework, the UAE introduced a 9% corporate tax on business profits above a certain threshold. 9% still sounds low. Compare it to Germany's 30% or France's 25%, and it barely registers. But in Dubai, the value of zero was never really mathematical. It was psychological. Zero meant no exceptions, no asterisks, no complications. The moment you introduce any number above zero, the calculation changes for every company that came specifically because the number was zero. Shell companies without real operations are now legally exposed. The holding structure that existed only on paper, that model is under pressure in ways it never was before. Some firms are already running numbers on other jurisdictions. The magnet that pulled global capital here for 30 years just got a little weaker. And in an economy that runs entirely on attracting external money at speed, any reduction in pull gets felt fast. There's a quiet irony sitting right in the middle of all this. In January 2022, Dubai moved its official weekend from Thursday-Friday to Saturday-Sunday to align with Western financial markets. For an Islamic nation where Friday is the sacred day of prayer, that's not a small adjustment. That's the city publicly choosing international commerce over religious tradition. A half-day compromise on Fridays, enough to attend prayer, not enough to lose a trading session. Meanwhile, in the gleaming metro system built in 2009, 90 kilometers of fully automated track, the longest driverless metro in the world, the carriages have premium sections that cost double the standard fare. The workers who build and clean and run this city, they live in areas the metro doesn't reach. For them, the daily reality is overcrowded buses in 50-degree heat. Dubai built a science fiction transportation system that doesn't connect to the people keeping the city alive. Every decision from the top down, every solution optimized for appearance, every problem addressed for the camera first. And the camera is what this city lives and dies by. In the middle of one of the world's most hostile deserts, someone decided to plant 50 million flowers. The Dubai Miracle Garden, 72,000 square meters of color, a life-sized Airbus A380 covered in petals, Disney-scale sculptures that broke world records. Visually, it's extraordinary. But keeping 50 million flowers alive in a climate that kills them requires millions of liters of desalinated water every single day. Desalination consumes enormous energy. That energy burns carbon, and every year the entire garden gets demolished, redesigned, and rebuilt from scratch. importing soil and flowers from thousands of miles away. It's a remarkably honest monument to Dubai's operating philosophy. Build the spectacle, photograph it, don't ask what it costs tomorrow. The Dubai Mall follows the same logic. 1 million square meters of retail, an ice rink in the desert, an aquarium holding 10 million liters of water, and 33,000 marine animals, requiring constant, expensive climate control around the clock. During the pandemic, the doors closed and revenue disappeared. The systems kept running, the animals still needed care. It's a model that only works if the tourists never stop arriving. The moment the flow slows, the vulnerability surfaces. So, where does this leave us? Dubai has survived before. The 2008 crash, the pandemic, multiple regional disruptions. It's genuinely resilient in ways that deserve real credit. The government moves fast, it adapts, it holds sovereign wealth reserves that would cushion shocks most cities couldn't survive. But the pressures are real and they're compounding. A transient workforce with no legal stake in the future, a tax advantage that is slowly eroding, a legal system where financial hardship can become criminal liability overnight. Megaproject after megaproject, announced, celebrated, and quietly left unfinished. A city whose image is its primary product, and whose image depends entirely on nothing visibly going wrong. The oil that funded the original miracle is under pressure from every direction. Electric vehicles, energy transition, falling investment in new extraction capacity. Dubai has been racing to diversify. Finance, tourism, logistics, technology. And it's made genuine progress, real progress. But no city sustains itself forever on spectacle alone. Capital is patient until something shifts its confidence. And when capital decides to leave, it moves fast and it doesn't look back. What shines today under the Arabian sun, all that glass, all that ambition, all that carefully constructed light, may one day be remembered as the most instructive lesson in the history of building something extraordinary on a foundation that was never meant to last forever. The question isn't whether the pressure is real. The question is what Dubai does with it, and whether the decisions get made before the moment of choice disappears.